Hello everybody and welcome inside the final Rockwall Sportscenter update for the year. I'm Chris Curtis, joined by Cue Ball, the voice of your Rockwall Yellowjackets, Billy Quinton, and head coach, the Wiz, Rodney Webb. That's my new name for you, by the way. I hope it starts going a little bit. But coach, 45-24 to number 2 ranked Lake Travis on Saturday. The game plan was great. It looked great. Lake Travis just was a little too much for you.
Yeah, you know, they've won 5 state championships, and they're now 14-0 in the season. They're a very good football team, and we did feel good about our plan. We felt like our kids played as hard as they could possibly play. Just wasn't quite enough this game. We felt like we had to play a perfect game to win, and we didn't. We didn't play a perfect game, and but a lot of that had to do with Lake Travis and the pressure they put on us. And I felt a little bit like during the game, like they played like a team that has been there before and is used to the stage, and we're not. But you have to play in a game like this to gain that experience, to being used to play on that stage. So we felt like there was a lot of positives to be drawn from it.
Absolutely, and Billy's already getting a call from his agent over there. But I don't want this to be a funeral of sets for the Rockwall Yellowjackets. It's more of a celebration of the season, and I think something that I noticed, and Billy, you can chime in too on this, but there was 2 minutes left in the game, and this game was practically over. But the defense was still out there. They were trying to get the crowd involved. The kids were still. There was not really any upsetness on the sideline. It was a lot of positive saying, let's finish this game strong. And that's obviously something from the coaching staff that's gelled on this team. So kind of talk about that as far as this team just really taking the whole jacket fight never dies thing and just going to the very end.
Yeah, that's probably the thing that I think that I'll remember most about this team is the consistency with which they played and their unflappability. At halftime, we go in there and we talked about composure, and we're down at halftime. But, our kids didn't panic. And I think there were a few moments in the first half when Lake Travis got under our skin just a little bit and again, forced us into maybe making some uncharacteristic mistakes, but they weren't effort-related mistakes. And our kids continue to grind. And I believe at halftime really believed we could come back and win the game. And we talked about that and, really I thought came out and really outplayed Lake Travis in the second half.
I want to talk about the experience. I know this is other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play kind of question, but going in the quarterfinal round, first time we've been this far, 28 years. Kyle Field, we got a chance to sit and talk a little bit before the game, and just watching the players out there before you even go in and put the uniforms and everything, they're just having a blast out there on the field. Talk about your approach in these ball games, because I think a lot of people anticipate these teams show up and they're tense and they're just sitting there and they got fire in their eyes, but you kind of come at it another angle. Let's embrace it and let's have fun.
Yeah, I've always felt like you have to separate the experience of playing in a venue like that with the game. And the experience of playing at Kyle Field, we knew 100% certain was going to be a good experience. And I think that our kids out there before the game, they were loose and had a lot of energy, but I think that had more to do with the stop at Buc-ee's in Madisonville and some of probably the candy that they ate and the sugar high they were on. That's probably mainly explains that.
I also want to ask you about a couple players we're not going to have anymore. It seems like forever. I thought about this. We've been doing this just over 8 years, doing the broadcast, and for half of those years, we've watched Luke Turman. He's been on the varsity for 4 years. Will Reed's been the starting quarterback for 3 years. Your whole time here. This next year will be the first time you'll have another quarterback starting for you. Talk a little bit about these guys and some other seniors possibly that that I'm sure you're very proud of, but have made such a huge difference for this program and have really left it in a great spot, or they leave this program in a great spot for these others to take over.
Well, kids like that you mentioned, kids like Luke and Will, Caleb Roach, who's been a 3-year varsity player, Kenneth Tobias, who's been a 3-year varsity player, Tom Bajuana, these are kids that not only brought quality on the field for 3 years, but they also brought great leadership in the locker room. And, that even keel that our team seemed to play with, I think had a lot to do with the experience of some of those guys that we've had playing on Friday nights for so long. So they're going to be dearly missed. But as we say every year, there's another crop of guys coming, and we'll be saying some of the same things next year about this next senior class and kids that have played on varsity for 3 years.
And we could stick with that right now. I know you really haven't had time to digest Saturday and kind of go ahead, but I know as a coach you're probably already looking ahead and getting excited about August. So let's start it out right now. 6A next year, you're coming right back, undefeated district champions for 2 years in a row. The district's not official yet, but it's looking like it's going to be Rockwall Heath. It looks like it's going to be the Mesquite Schools and Longview, John Tyler, and Robert E. Lee. So kind of talk to me about looking forward in this team. How do you think this team's going to fare next year?
Well, realignment comes out in February, so we won't know anything officially until then. But I do feel like there's a good chance we'll go back to the East next realignment, and that's going to be a very, very good competitive district. One of those districts where every single week you're going to play somebody that has the potential to beat you. So whereas, in 11-6A, competitive most of the time, but there were a few opportunities there that you felt like you could catch your breath a little bit. I believe that if we go back to the East, that it's going to be a meat grinder, and it's every week you got to bring your A game.
Now, it's going to be a hard adjustment for me. Every Wednesday I get to hang out with you. Now, we don't get to do it for a while, so I might still come by.
Yeah, still
Is that
come
cool?
by. Oh, absolutely.
Right.
As long as
All
you
right.
bring lunch.
Okay, of course. Anyway, I want to talk about the off season now, and just kind of give us a quick game plan. And for those not familiar, football season, the games ended, but nowadays football season is year round, and you're going to be doing a lot of things to prepare for next season already. Now as fans. At least as broadcasters and stuff, we kind of move on. We got basketball coming up. We're going to be doing baseball and all that kind of stuff. But football's always there. And talk about what the off-season program is and what you're doing. And, next time we see these kids on the field will be the spring game in May.
Yeah, it's a 12-month process for us. It really is. And so the next cycle for our players is off-season. And we'll go into a strength training phase. We call it El Loco Diablo. Our players know what that means. The program we put them through is known as El Loco Diablo, and I don't speak Spanish, and I really don't even know what that means. But
that means
think
the shoe has cheese, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
think you're right.
Pretty
Yes,
confident,
yes.
yeah.
So, but that's what our players are going to be doing for the next 6 weeks after Christmas, and then we start building in some football skills along the way. There's some agility components all through there. For the coaches, it's the research and development phase. We get together with other staff, share ideas. We go to clinics, sometimes speaking at clinics, sometimes listening at clinics, but trying to put the jigsaw puzzle together, and you begin to toy with ideas about how we can operate a little bit differently next year to improve. Always looking to improve and take the next step. So the players have a task, the coaches have a task. And between now and February, I'm also spending a lot of time with recruiters trying to get our present crop of seniors an opportunity to go play somewhere. So it certainly doesn't get any less busy for me this time of year.
And looking at Lake Travis, I felt like Lake Travis was a reflection of Rockwall. Lake Travis seemed to just have a little bit more depth, bigger size a little bit. But that's something that looks like Rockwall is on the path to achieving. Is that, that the case?
Very much. I think there are a lot of similarities in our two programs. The biggest difference right now is that they have 5 state championships under their belt. And, the impact of Rockwall going to the state quarterfinals is tremendous with our program in our community. But if you can project that out to, here's a program that they haven't gone to the state quarterfinals 1 year, they've won the state championship 5 years. And I think that, that's where that program is a little bit ahead of us. But I think the blueprint is very similar, and I think we can build our program and get to that point.
I'm looking forward to running those flags across the field after every touchdown. It's
Yeah.
a state champion every time. But, Coach, I guess overall, you look back on it, look at this season. You started 0-3. You ran off 10 straight wins in a row. I know you've had about 48 hours to kind of look back. Kind of tell me what you've taken from this season and what you've learned, as a coach, as a person, and obviously as the leader of this team.
Well, yeah, I think the thing that comes to mind for me is just how proud I am of this group of seniors. Really, this team in general, but in particular the seniors, because it's just a group that, regardless what anybody wants to say about the level of talent of our team, it's a self-made. Whatever talent is in that locker room was really self-made, and it was developed in the off-season program and just through good old-fashioned hard work. And it really is a team that deserved every single thing that they earned over the course of the year, and we're just really proud of the accomplishments that they made.
Billy, as a broadcaster, what have you learned about this team? And obviously, we had a lot of fun, and the broadcasters did too. What have you learned about this team and going forward?
Well, the greatest thing is that it's a great group of kids. That's what's fun. I love that. We've been around this is our 9th year doing this, and you get to know your teams every year and stuff like that. But you also talk with other teams and talk with other coaches, and to know that we're pretty blessed with this coaching staff and Rodney as head coach, and then of course these kids that play here, because it's a mentality to be a Rockwall Yellowjacket, and it's a privilege. And I think a lot of these kids see it that way. A lot of the players, not only football, it also applies to the other sports too, that we see that, and it goes across the board. But man, it sure is fun to tag along. That's what I take along with it. It sure is fun to go to these different places, these different stadiums, to meet different people, and that's what I take. And my final thing I want to say, I do want to thank Coach Webb and his staff. They're always accessible anytime we need anything. And I'm amazed at how much he does. He's a head coach of a 6A football program that is now made the quarterfinals, and now has a history of past 3 years of going to the playoffs. And I'll show up, and he's divvying out tickets, or he's writing a note. I mean, it's things that I didn't think a 6A coach would have to do.
Buying you lunch.
Buying me
for
lunch.
example.
Yes.
Right.
Picking me up when I need a ride somewhere now. But anyway, yes, and I want to thank you and appreciate you and all the work you put in, because it's amazing. You kind of, it's just unbelievable. And I do want to thank you and all the work you put in. You put in a lot of work for these things, to do these Yellow Jacket updates, and a lot of stuff behind the scenes. And so we appreciate you, and Coach, of course, we appreciate you and these players and everything. It's just a great experience all around.
And of course, we want to thank Rockwall Sportscenter, Kim and her staff,
Yes.
for sponsoring this. Hopefully we get them back for a 3rd year next year.
She
Always
made everybody
important to
stay
have.
and work on Saturday.
She's paid our salary right now, so I mean,
exactly.
it's what it is. We
It's
want to
all
thank,
about the business,
absolutely
yes.
want to thank Rockwall High School. We want to thank Billy, as you as well. Coach Webb, as you as well. And unfortunately, this is the last one for the year. But Coach, one final thing as far as next year. I know you've set the bar high each year. You want to go one round deeper each year. So next year, are we going to see the semifinals next year?
Well,
Hopefully,
that seems to be the trend. I hope so. That would be a lot of fun. It would be a lot of fun for sure.
Let's win state 1 year early, though, next
Well,
year.
and again, we said this last time. Don't make permanent holiday plans next
true,
year.
yes.
We got stuff that's going on.
Right. Let's put that Christmas parade a little further into the season.
Put a little asterisk by the plans you make to know that it could change.
Absolutely. Well, I guess we're going on to basketball season now, so Billy, we'll see you on basketball
You bet.
and baseball, of course.
David Sweet.
Should be a
also,
fun ride.
Yeah, the main man there for the basketball broadcast, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, any final thoughts on the season? Wrap it up. Billy, we'll start with you.
Again, it's just, that we're in December and we're still doing this and we're still watching football. And like I told Coach Webb Wednesday, I can't believe I'm still coming over to the school in December, and we're sitting here talking about, playoffs, and that we get down to the Final 8 is just an unbelievable accomplishment at this level of football, at the highest level, and to be there in Division II is just a great accomplishment, and it's just been a blast, and I can't wait for things to come.
Coach Webb?
Well, I think that the disappointment that everybody experienced after the game on Saturday, from the team, the coaches, the fans, was real. And I think for everybody it lasted probably a day or so. I know that I spent Sunday feeling sorry for myself all day. But after a season like this, it's hard to be disappointed for long because of the accomplishments of this team. And I just want to thank you guys as well for the work you put in, but everybody that helped. So many people are involved in helping make this thing what it is, and without the support of the community, without the support of the school district, without the parents allowing the coaches to work with their kids every day and yell at them every once in a while, really none of this would be possible. So it really is a community-wide effort to build this thing the way it's being built. And so I just want to express my appreciation for everyone that has had anything to do with it.
And of course, Billy, we'll have to work on your contract extension for next year. We'll talk to Kim, and now we got to add Coach Webb to the mix now that he's joined us. So we're gonna have to give him some gratuity or something.
my
here.
agent. You can just talk to him.
It's going to take till August 26th. It looks like kickoff for 2016. So until then, we will see you then. Coaching us away one final time.
Jacket fight never dies.
We'll see you next year.